All right. So let's just go. Starting a live stream now. Okay, let's just go. GM everyone, and welcome to my live stream. If you are in here, you probably already know a bit about Web3, and maybe you have thrown some money into tokens or DeFi protocols or even normal products in crypto. You know the drill. You find a project that looks interesting and then you start your research, because there is a saying in Web3 that says always do your own research. And if you are being honest with yourself, should I say, if you are being honest with ourselves, most of those research is just pain in the ass. You Google the name and every result that comes back is the project's own website, their Telegram group, their Twitter thread, or even all marketing. They are all marketing, and even some articles that have been written for them. Everything has been written to make the project look good. And then you check Twitter, and just a mix of people shilling and people saying it's a scam, and you have no idea who is right or wrong. You might even try to read the white paper, and then you see 40 pages of technical words you don't even know about, and then that tells you, and those white paper, if you are not technical enough, those white paper tells you nothing about what the project actually does. You check the team session and it just says some random anonymous thing, and the thing is, even if you spend 3 hours going through all this, you are still not sure. You are just guessing, because there is no structured way to put all of this together and to get a clear picture of what the project is in one place. And that's the problem I kept on running into. Every single time I wanted to make a research on a project, I would spend hours, and I'll come back more confused than when I started. And that's not because the information wasn't there, rather. The information is actually there, to be honest, but pulling it all together, knowing what to look for, and getting a clear read on whether this project is worth my time or even my money, that was the hardest part for me. So I actually stopped investing in most things, because I couldn't justify the research time against the bets I was trying to make. And I know I'm not the only one, because I've talked to some other people in this space, and even my friends are not, and most of them all say the same thing. And that's what led me into Vett. So Vett is what I am building to actually solve this. And the way I think about it is more than just a chatbot. Everyone knows what cloud is. You go there, you ask a question, and you get an answer. Same with other chatbots like Gemini, Cloud, and the rest. That's not what this is. Vet is actually more than a research committee. And let's say, for example, you had like 5 experts sitting in a room, and then you give them a project to tear apart. And each and everyone in that room is focused on one specific thing. Like, they are focused on one specific thing, and at the end of the day, they all wrote up their findings, and then someone else compile it into one document you can actually read. That's exactly, no, should I say, that's closer to what Vett is, except the fact that these experts are AI agents, and then they do the research live from the web. They are pulling information directly from the web, not what they are trained on, not from something that might be outdated. So, and they search for what's currently out there and form their own thesis and read on it. So here is how it works. Let me just go to that session. So here is how it works. You come in and drop in whatever information you have on a project. It could be a website URL, it could be just the name of the project or the product. It could even be their pitch deck, you might just come across their pitch deck. It could be you just typing in just any language, it could be plain language. For example, you could just say, I'm looking at this project called Search. I found it on Twitter and I would like to know more about them. Then you click send. You can literally just say anything. You don't have to like have a particular formatting. You don't have to like fill a form. Just put it in, and then this is the part where I think is most interesting. A coordinator agent, yeah. A coordinator agent reads your inputs and then asks 2 to 3 targeted clarifying questions before research begins. This coordinator agent reads what you give it and immediately identify what is missing. I'm sure when you are just typing whatever inside, you are definitely going to mix out on some context. And yeah, this is where the coordinator agent comes in. It asks you smart questions like, maybe should I say, is the team anonymous, or maybe do you know who they are, or whether there is a token out there, or whether the product is pre-token. Depends on all kind of questions. Maybe what chain is this on, how far along is the project, are they live, are they still building, are they still like in a prototype stage, are they still in mainnet or testnet, stuff like that. And all this is not like it's going to ask you all of these questions. It's not it's going to ask like, should I say 2 or 3 targeted questions, because I believe these questions shouldn't be much, maybe 10 questions. No, we are not going to be doing that. I believe 2 or 3 questions is enough, because the whole point is to save you time and also give you the maximum best research you could actually get. So if you answer those questions upfront, the agents that come after have context to work with and they are not just guessing. Once you answer this, the coordinator agent passes that all into once you answer that, yeah, you answer, it passes that to all like 5 specialist agents. It could be more later on, but for now, the whole idea is like based around that 5 specialist agents. And they all get to like go to work and work at the same time, not one after the other. It's like working simultaneously. So instead of waiting for like maybe 30 minutes for a report, you are getting everything back in like 10 minutes, because it's running in parallel and each agent has its own focus. One agent, okay, let me just go to that aspect. Let me explain the 5 specialist agents. One agent researches the team, who they are. No, this is the team agent here. It researches the team, who they are, what they have built before. Do they have like real backgrounds? Are they anonymous, or is it their first time? Do they even have like past exits in Web3? In Web3 we have like founders who have worked severally on different projects and they are now like moving into a new venture and stuff. Or can even it will even check for you whether these team members are actually credible. And then another agent, which is the product agent, it evaluates whether the product is real or the mechanism is coherent and the code exists. This agent actually like look at this product. Is this thing, does this mechanism, like I said before, does it actually make sense? Is it doing what they say it does? Another project also, yeah, that's the tokenomics agent. Let me just talk about this before I talk about the market agents. The tokenomics is where most, should I say, yeah, most, should I, if not all, most agents, like most retail investors, get burnt and they don't even know it. You see the FDV, you see the initial price, you think it's cheap, but what if 80% of the supply is held by the team with a 12-month lock period that ends in a month? The price is going to get the price is definitely going to like get, should I say, yeah, it's going to get crushed, and then they are going to dump on retail. So that's one thing about these tokenomics agents, is going to examine token models, vesting schedules, allocations, and also concentration risk, which all of these are very, very important. When you look at the vesting schedule, you can actually see whether there are some red flags hidden in them. And then another agent looks at the markets. Where does this fit in? It assesses the market size, the competitive landscape, and defensibility of position. What this agent does is that it's, is there an actual demand for this product I want to like invest my money into, or is it just riding the narrative? In Web3 we have like different types of narratives that go on and on and on all the time. But then this agent is going to look like, is there an actual demand for this tech, or is just riding a narrative? And then there's another agent I'm here to talk about, which is the risk. Should I call? Yeah, is the risk agent, more like security. You're going to be checking out whether there is smart contract risk, whether this project has been audited, whether there are known vulnerabilities. If we look at today's DeFi scenario, DeFi environment, there are lots of risk that comes with DeFi. Products and projects or even protocols are getting hacked. Many are getting exploited day by day. So he's going to be checking out for all these things, for especially for DeFi protocols, because it actually matters. A protocol can have great tokenomics, and then yeah, a protocol can have different tokenomics, and then if it's if the smart contract has been exploited so many times, you are definitely not going to be putting your money in that. So each agent writes his own session independently, and none of them sees what others wrote until, should I say, until the last stage, where is the synthesis stage. So there is no contamination. Each agent forms his own view, not on what other agent already concluded. And that's one thing I actually like. I want for this product I'm building, not for different this team agent to say something, and then product agent is looking at what it has said and then using it to form its own idea. No, agents are AI is actually very easy to like deceive than no. So let me just give me a second. Okay. So the question I got from this was that, who is this actually for? Because you might be thinking, I don't need a research committee, I can do this for myself in 20 minutes. And the funniest thing is, maybe you can, but the question is whether you should be spending your time on it. And there is where I think Vett actually comes in. If you are a retail investor in Web3, you've got some capital deployed, you are definitely looking at new opportunities. You are probably spending 2 3 hours minimum on due diligence before you invest on new projects. And honestly, most of those times just clicking around trying to find like basic informations that are very easy to find. And this is where Vet actually comes in. Vet is actually replace all those time wasting, and 10 minutes instead of spending like hours, and you then get a structured document which you can act on. And also, if you are not a retail investor, or maybe you are just like a founder building a Web3, you should also be running like bet on your own project before you pitch it to anyone, because a VC is going to run their own research, and you want to know whether what they are going to find before they find. If you are a product builder now, and then have something you have like your own product you want to pitch out to others, and then you bring it to vets in the first place to check it out for you. You can actually like run vet on your own product and see what comes back. Then you fix all the gaps and all the loopholes before those meetings, and that's a completely different conversation before. Yeah, that's a different conversation when you compare it to just like going to the VCs and just moving in there, walking in blind. And if you are someone who just follows, should I call it narrative or trends? You are someone who just follow trend and you're just thinking about getting involved, maybe you saw a project on Twitter, Reddit, or maybe in a Discord, and you are considering like putting money in them, but you don't know where to start. You don't have like a framework for evaluating it. Vet actually gives you that framework, because you don't need to be a financial analyst or be very seasoned in Web3 before you actually use Vett. Vett is actually going to give you that report you are going to read, then you understand, should I put my money into this? Should I get involved with this or no? And if you are also a builder or a developer, Vett agent architecture is also open in a way that you can actually like look at Vett, and also, should I say, how do I say this? If you are building something like, if you are building an intelligence tool or maybe data pipeline around products, should I say product research now? Yeah. The architecture of it also is also useful to you. You might actually learn one or two things about it. So today's stream is actually to, this is the first time I'm talking about it, and I'm actually building this in public. As you can see already, I've designed the UI to some extent, most of it at least, and I want to show you what I've built so far, and then connect the first piece of the actual product, because right now it's just a design. It looks right, and then maybe, but nothing works yet. So let me just show you this start button. Yeah, so this is how just how it's going to look like, but there's going to be a feature to actually upload like maybe a pitch deck or add links and the likes. So we are about to change that. So here's the first thing I'm going to be doing now. Since you can see the UI, and I already have like the okay, let me just check something. I built this. Okay, this is how the flow looks. If you click on belt, the input is just, this is just mock data. So we are not going to be, it's not, this is not the real, this is just mock data. I just idea, does this project have a live token? So what's the ticker? Should I just say, let me just call it search. Is the public known? None. Okay. Yeah, so this is the whole idea of how I want it to look, as you can see. But it's going to have like a better, should I say, yeah, it's going to have like a better view when the agents are actually like doing their own research. You'll be able to like stream it live and then see what it's all about. We are just going to get something like this, but not just this. This is just like a mock data. This is incomplete, are very short. We are going to be getting much more detailed reports from every vetting. Yeah, I can call it every vetting you are trying to do. So this is just how it looks like. Then you'll be able to download and know. So I haven't figured out the amount to charge for. This is just a mock. I don't plan on charging $50. I don't know yet the pricing and all. I think that can come later in this stream. So what are we going to be doing now? For now, I think I'm going to be feeding. I already wrote something earlier while I was doing some research on the how the backend can actually go. So this is actually the backend. Should I say, yeah, I can call it backend flow. This is actually the backend flow for the this is the backend flow for the website. But then I'm going to have to like copy everything and then paste it to. I'm using codex for this. I've been using codex, so I actually like designed some of them myself earlier, but I'm using codex for this flow, so I'm going to be going right into. So this is what we are going to be doing now, since we already have like, should I say, some of the UI. You can actually like redesign some of these things earlier, like this. Now I'm not feeling it, but I just feel like it's manageable for now. And then I'm going to be feeding it my backend. I'm going to be feeding codecs my backend flow. This is my backend flow. Okay, so let me just show you guys. This is how I want this to look like. Okay, user submits project description, front send the text, API, endpoint, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I'm sure some of my viewers have seen this step one and two, so I'm just going to be looking at this. Coordinator does initial research. This is the step I skipped, yeah, and I was researching some earlier. I'm still thinking of using like different search agents, but maybe for now I can just use Tabili, but there are some many others that I can actually use for this. I don't know if Tabili is going to be able to actually do this very well, or maybe I should just use Excel. In case you don't know, this is Excel. Let me just show you guys what Excel is. Excel search agent. I think it's Excel.com. Yeah, I'm thinking of using either Tabili or maybe Excel. And there's this one I also use for AI search for AI agents. I don't know if Perplexity too will be able to like do this properly, but then that's not the issue for now. So might just be doing this, but then let me just give it. Let me just show you guys the backend flow for now. Then the step 4 coordinator dispatch to 5 agents. Oh, I know there is a rate limit on Tabili, but so there's going to be a workaround around this. Either we are going to switch to Excel or maybe Perplexity. We have Brave Search, so there are lots of options. That's not an issue. So I'm just going to be pasting this to my agents. So this is the backend. This is the backend flow I wrote earlier, and I want to review and think about it. So earlier on, I gave Codex the overview of this project, so it knows what we are working on. Couple with the overview I gave you earlier on, let's discuss what works and off. So on this stream, I'm going to be discussing with Codex on the backend and how we are going to build the 5 AI agents and how they are going to like work in parallel. You know, when you talk about agents working in parallel, they are working simultaneously and not waiting for one another before they actually like work out. So that's what parallel means. So that's where it gets interesting. From then, once we solve that, we are going to like then think about streaming. I'm sure we know what streaming is. Streaming is just like just like the way I'm doing right now. You are seeing what I'm doing in real time. So the agents can actually start sending text to in real time. It just depends on how whatever flow you are using. But that's just it for now. Let me see what Codex asks for us. Okay. What works well? The two-phase coordinator is smart. It reduces wasted agent runs and gives a clean baseline context. Potential risk and gap. Code start and streaming. I know that is going to be an issue, but then it's never an issue. You can actually sort that out. Session consistency, concurrent trifle can stop each other unless you design the ready schema carefully per agent. Okay, suggestions that improve it without changing the core. Per agent keys in Reddit. Mate step 2 returning. What is step 2? Step 3 is step 3 is coordinator doing an initial research. Okay. Okay, I think this is actually nice, but then we have to decide on what JSON schema is going to return, because it can't just return just only this. These are not enough. I don't think this is enough. I don't think this is enough for the 5 agents to work with. Okay, so let's just read more. Timeout and partial memory. If an agent fails time, synthesize with what you have. This prevents stock session. Okay, 400 words per agent. I think 400 words is okay, or less. I think 400 words per agent is enough. Yeah, 400 words per agent is enough, because if agents keeps like sending a lot, users are also going to get bored. Not like everyone likes to read that much, but then for people that loves to read, they are going to get a lot of overview and from the memo and all. So let me just tell you, this looks great, but then project name. I think it's not enough. So I'm going to be changing this to 5.3x codex. I know. Okay. So let's see what codex asks for us. So while we wait for codex to do its thing, I think we have to like just go back to this. I don't know if I'm going to be using Hexa or Tabili for this. Let me check their pricing. Depends. I'm going to be, let me check Tabili pricing also. I've been using Tabili for a while, but then this is, we are only 5 agents simultaneously, so I don't know how. I think this is, let me check. Oh, this is $8 per 1K. This is $8 per 1K. While XI is $7 per 1K. Okay. So let me just check for perplexity. Perplexity search pricing. Now if you are going with this all this, you have to like know which one it does best. Brave search. Okay. Wow. I think perplexity is much more cheaper than the rest. This is $5 per 1K request, while it has a fetch URL. That's about I think $5 per 10K invocations. And we are going to be using a lot of URLs, project URLs and the likes. So I'm going to have to like do my own costs to see what goes. So Brave Search is also 1K per request, which is not bad, and it has a limit about 50 requests per second. This is actually nice. From what I've seen so far, I think Brave and then Perplexity has much more cheaper rates. So let's just go back to this. Okay, this is done now. But that baseline is still. Evidence is never going to be limited unless you don't have maybe the team something like maybe the team is unknown or stuff. But then I feel like 20 watts is even okay. That's just per agent, and if you round it off to 5 agent, that's about 1000 watts before we now give it one particular, write it out as a memo. This is going to be a lot. What's the 5 agent pages now for a coordinator question pack? A coordinator context pack. I think better input for all 5 agents. I think this is nice, but then I'll have to do my own personal research and not just go with what Codex is suggesting. So I'm going to copy this and put it somewhere. Okay, but the baseline is to think for high quality specialist students is a good target. Yeah, so I'm going to be telling is great, but then your suggestion looks limited. We need a very detailed input. Looks limited to me. We need a very detailed input for all 5 agents. Oh, we sent it already. Oh, sorry, this is. Oh, okay. Very detailed input for all 5 agents. This looks generic and this looks great, good, but kinda generic. I believe we can do better. Should do more research. Yeah, I the context pack it gave us is actually not bad. It's going to have like a project identity, the evidence registry, credibility signals, triggers, and they are all looking very great. But then I feel like it can still do better. We are going to be building a product that everyone is going to be using. We have to like, sorry, we have to like do better, not just give something generic to our users. So even after this, I'm still going to be doing some more research after this stream to check out for more details we could add. I'm trying to give out the users the best of the best. So while we are looking at that, let's just go back to Perplexity. Well, I think I'll have to do my own personal research on this to see which one is going to work well for the product I'm building. Right now we have Perplexity and Brave leading in terms of search pricing, but then we will have to like look at quality and also pricing together. We can't just say because it is cheaper we are going to go with it. We have to like test out these APIs on different aspects. So I'll be running some tests since Exa has free request format. I can just like do a particular testing, personal testing, to check out which one is the best. I've tried out Tabili so many times, so I know how they work. But then I'm going to have to like check this Perplexity, and then yeah, I've tried Brave also, so I'm going to be checking out Perplexity and Exa to see how their searches works and which one will be the best for what we are building. Okay, so we got back some stuff now, and then this is actually, so you can see, it's much more better now. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing my own personal research. I'm going to be doing my own personal research to see if this is the right way to go about it. I can't just agree with whatever is given to me. So that will be on our next stream. On our next stream, I would have shown, gotten all the reports from the research, and then we continue building from there. So guys, thank you guys for joining today's stream. My name is Bells, and I'm building Vett and AI research committees for Web3 projects. If you are trying to like research for whatever Web3, you don't have to like spend 3 hours before you actually make out something from it. You just need to drop in your Web3 project, and then multiple AI agents to search it simultaneously for you, and then you get a personal, professional investment memo in minutes and not hours. So thank you guys for today, and I'll see you in the next stream.